Hyundai will give you either a gasoline-only or a hybrid version of their midsize crossover, the Santa Fe, and they'll give you front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. But for 2025, you can also get this off-road version, the XRT model, which gives you some all-terrain tires, but promises 2 fewer MPG on the highway, according to the EPA. But what sort of numbers can you realistically expect here in the real world? Tonight we find out. Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test on the 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe XRT. In this test, we're going to head out on the highway and do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour, to get a realistic fuel economy number for this slightly more off-road capable midsize crossover. But before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. Here in this very cool orange color, the Hyundai Santa Fe. This one is rocking all-wheel drive and the 2.5-liter turbocharged engine. It's the least fuel-efficient version of the Santa Fe that you're going to find, but theoretically, cruising on the highway, it shouldn't be that much worse than one of the hybrid models. However, like I said, the all-terrain tires are going to be a little bit less efficient. That really should be the only reason. I don't think this one gets any extra ground clearance. I'd have to double-check. Maybe I'll put here below if it does or not. But unfortunately, we're probably not going to get a chance to test a non-XRT gas version of the Santa Fe, something like just a normal SEL, which, I mean, I'd like to have the data, but honestly, I highly recommend you spend the extra money. It's like $500 or so to get the hybrid model anyway. It drives smoother, it's more efficient, and arguably going to be more reliable. Yes, it's a little less powerful, and you can't get this XRT model. So the way I see it is you should either get the XRT if you want this one, or you should get the hybrid. So that's why I'm okay only testing those two on the highway for now. But if you do want to see more on the Santa Fe, check the link below. We've got a lot of coverage of the hybrid calligraphy and then this XRT model as well. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives this Santa Fe XRT 26 miles per gallon, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are plenty of people who use their vehicles for longer road trips and would like to know what sort of numbers you can realistically expect here in the real world. So in order to test that out, I'm going to head over to the gas station tonight when there's less traffic on the road. We're going to fill up and go out and do 100 miles, then come back and fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method to get our results. Now, a few things to note for tonight. Outside temperature will probably be just above 50 degrees, maybe 50, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to set the climate control at 73 degrees auto, and I'm going to set the tires at their door placard factory recommended cold PSI, which you will be seeing right here below. So without any further ado, let's head to the gas station. 9.496 gallons going in for our first fill. Before starting up the motor, we've got the trip computer reset, we've got our GPS reset, climate control set to 73 degrees auto, and we're ready to begin. Now we do have a few different drive modes here in the Santa Fe. We've got normal, sport, my drive, and snow. So we're just going to do this test in normal. We'll take it nice and easy over to the highway. It's about half a mile away, and pick up the test from there. Now the goal of this test isn't to hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy for this car, but rather a realistic figure. So in order to do that, we're going to get up to highway speed here at a reasonable pace and set our cruise control at a GPS indicated 71 miles per hour. That should allow us to average 70 over the whole test. The other day somebody commented on one of these videos and said, I can't believe you're going so slow for the highway test. No one drives 70, 75 miles per hour should be the minimum. And then you get out on the highway here and you realize, oh wait, lots of people are going much closer to the posted speed limit of 65 miles per hour here in Southern California. Millions of drivers, in fact, are exposed to speed limits of less than 70 miles per hour. So even if you're going to speed by 10% or so, you're still probably less than 75 miles per hour. So that is why we do our test at 71, try to get that 70 mile per hour average. And if you choose to go a little bit faster than that in your highway driving, you'll probably have a little bit less efficient result. And if you choose to go a little slower, you'll probably be a little more efficient. However, it does look like the car speedometer is a little bit slower than the actual GPS readout. So I think 70 miles per hour is where we're going to have to settle in. initial highway impressions, does seem like a little bit of extra road noise maybe from these all-terrain tires. Hard to say if it's because of that or just because of a little bit less sound deadening in this XRT model. But, alright, this should be a nice place to be for the next hour and a half. So I will get back to you at the end of the test. In the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the Santa Fe XRT. Honestly, a little bit better than I expected. The dash readout's given us 27 MPG at this point, and given the all-terrain tires and the boxy shape, the fact that we're beating EPA by 1 mile per gallon, I will take it. Now that being said, we've got an angry chart. What are you doing, bro? Guy's flying around, doesn't have his headlights on. Okay. He's gonna cut all the way over. Yep. Alright. Anyway. That being said, the trip meter does seem to be reading low. We'll see what happens when we actually get to the gas station where we should be at 100.3 miles. But halfway through, we were only at about 48, 49 miles. So I think we're reading a little bit low. So it'll be interesting if that comes to affect the vehicle's readout. Maybe we're actually getting even better than 27 MPG once we do the pump calculations. Got a little tach shot here, very easy to read with this digital gauge readout, 1.8 or 1800 RPM at 70, it's technically 71 miles per hour. Not a huge fan of the style of these gauges, but I don't know, they're different at least, kind of cool. What else? Comfort's fine, nothing too impressive. My butt isn't exactly super comfortable now, but not really too different for sort of a mid-level car. Not super impressed by the active lane keeping. I don't know if it's a different level of driving assist. I mean, I know it doesn't have the same highway driving assist as the top-level Santa Fe, but I don't know why some Hyundais the active lane keeping seems to be a little bit better or worse, but either way, a lot of times it just feels like you're fighting it in this car, and you can't just let it do its own thing because it's not confident enough. So you kind of just have to turn it off if you want a more enjoyable driving experience. I am really impressed with the sound system though. It's only 6 speakers, but yet you can really jam out. I've been really impressed listening to a lot of our music. I don't have a final rating yet, but I think it's going to come in at a strong B for the price point, and then maybe objectively about a C minus. So it's a pretty decent rating. But yeah, I think that's about the most of it. So we're going to get back to the pump here, fill it up, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow morning to crunch the final numbers. Back here the next morning, and it did turn out that the vehicle's trip meter was remarkably low. Only 97.7 miles once we finished a GPS indicated 100.3 miles. So that's a little bit disappointing. I don't know if that has anything to do with the XRT tires or if this one's just poorly calibrated or what. But we ended up putting in a total of 3.490 gallons. We head over here and do 100.3 divided by 3.49. Okay, so just as I suspected, a little bit better than the vehicle's readout, 28.7, rounding up to 29 MPG for the Hyundai Santa Fe XRT. Now, considering EPA's 26, vehicle readout gave us 27, I am actually going to give a little bit more of a conservative round down to 28 miles per gallon flat here for the Santa Fe. I think if you're going to run the non-XRT model, yeah, that 29, maybe even upwards of close to 30 miles per gallon is more achievable. But I want to go a little bit more on the conservative side here, just in case there's any mess ups with the fill or anything like that. I think jumping up to 29 is a little bit too optimistic, rounding up that way. So we're going to round down 28 miles per gallon here, the Santa Fe XRT. Now, it's kind of up to you whether that's a good or a bad figure when you look at it in the lens of this being a vehicle with 8.3 inches of ground clearance and 3 rows of seating and all-terrain tires, and even full lifted up crossbars. That's not too bad of a number. And then also when you look at the horsepower figures of this one and the torque. However, when you compare it to just more of a standard kind of family hauler vehicle, if you're doing much more on-road than off, yeah, it's not that fantastic of a figure. Can certainly get stuff from other brands and Hyundai that are going to get over 30 MPG fairly easily cruising on the highway. They're giving us a 17.7 gallon fuel tank in here, so 17.7 gallons times that 28 MPG figure is giving you a respectable highway cruising range of 490 miles here in the Santa Fe XRT. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on this one or the hybrid calligraphy model that we tested earlier last year, check the link below, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.